Number 10 is easy. Dry t-shirt contest. You will never find a more degrading contest or a larger waste of not water.
You know, it's like I'm an old man now. It's like I kind of get what the kids are getting into nowadays. What people are into nowadays on YouTube are apparently tier lists of your own formed opinion. Starting out pretty good with a video game consoles of all time tier list. So you know we'll start that off pretty well. I'm gonna have to like disclaim something. The most bottom tier of them all will always be things I have never tried, never had, never did, something. So with that out of the way, also, you know, formed opinion and all that stuff, you don't have to disagree with everything I say. Let's start it off. Okay, 3DS. I could say that the 3DS was very, very good. I played a lot of it, and yeah, I think it has a good collection of games. It just kind of like was unfortunate that there was a lot of good games on it that I think would have been better if it was on any other console, really. But that's gonna go in like the B tier, just because like it is just really good, but like it could just be a lot better. I think this is like the PS Vita. I don't even see the original PSP down here. I never had a PS Vita. I'm not a big fan of like sort of. Oh no, that's the original PSP. I actually have one. It's sitting around the floor. It doesn't work, but like I haven't had a PSP and I haven't had a Vita, so that's going on those tiers. We got Atari Jaguar for some reason. I guess it's like alphabetical order or something. Yeah, I haven't played that one. I heard it's shit, but like no. Yeah, and I'm trying to like think. Am I supposed to like think of these like as all around consoles or the games that they have on? Because like, here's the Atari 2600. And that's like the big one. Like you got the Odyssey and some other things, but like the Atari 2600 was like the thing that kickstarted this whole thing. So it's just like I'm trying to like think if I should even put that on there, just because I played something like Barnstorming or something. What is this Quan review, by the way? Oh no! Oh no! No! Go back. At least to save the list. Yeah, I'll put that on B tier too. It's as good as a 3DS. I that's a terrible way to say it, but like it's got history with it basically. Super Nintendo, that's A tier, I would say, because it. God, I'll get into it when it comes into it. But the Super Nintendo, good graphics, good sound, had a lot of great games. There was like a whole huge pile of like all these other games that were terrible, but Super Nintendo, you know, just had like a whole lot better library altogether. PS3. I never had a PS3 actually. No, that's going down to D because I haven't had one. Game Boy. That's C tier. I had a Game Boy. I had like Pokemon. I had Mario Land. I think those were the two notable games I can only like say that I played for sure. And it was some fun time to play like a little video game all around. Dreamcast. I'm gonna get a Dreamcast soon. It's coming. After that guitar I'm getting, this is the next thing. It's like $60. I haven't had one, but I can't deny that it might be like of its previous generation was like the better console. It was like kind of swimming around the time between the transition between like PS1 to PS2 era of gaming, but it definitely was like the best header. GameCube. I love the GameCube. It's A tier. It sounded like a fanboy thing, but don't worry, it's gonna change soon. But like, no, like GameCube is really good. It's small, it's compact, it's got 2 memory card slots for controller ports. Actually, you don't have that on the PS2 or something like that. It's very simple. The discs are tiny and small. Also just generally have like a lot of great games on it as well. Neo Pocket, what is this? That's something over there. NES, here we go. NES has a great history of Nintendo being like, hey, we're here to fix things up with this video game trash. Here's a ton of great games. Here's a robot. Here's some zappers. But as time goes on, you know, with the Super Nintendo already there and everything, like, NES kind of goes down here. I gotta say, NES is like super great and everything, but like, I can't say that it stands against time, really. PS4, haven't had one. Can't say anything about it. I like to get one. Wii, oh boy. This eventually was my Netflix machine. I think after like all the stuff where like all the motion control stuff, you know, the wiggling and waggling with the controller, oh, you can play Zelda like this. You know, at the time when it was first introduced, sure, it was really fun to play those sort of games like that. Then as time goes on, man, I just want to hold the controller and just play a game. So, it eventually just became like a Netflix and web browsing thing. It definitely was a good hard hitter, but and like aside like, but it did kickstart like the whole virtual console thing as well. Had like a lot of cool downloadable games you can like play NES. That's B tier. I kind of think about like the virtual console-ness of like both these two, and just like, oh yeah, they still do have like a good classic collection of games as well. Sega Master System never had one. I can't say much about that. I never had OG Xbox either. I missed out a lot apparently from the Xbox. GBA, Game Boy Advanced. Well, the SP is here, so that goes in here, while this is going up here. Because, like, really, the GBA is great, but the SP came out, you can have a chargeable battery, you can still play Game Boy games on it, it's got a backlight. What more do you need? I think the only thing I kind of noticed that I actually kind of liked the more that I had the Wii U, I think, was that I really did like having like the star select buttons on like one side instead of like having them in the middle. I'm so weird like that, but I kind of realized it's kind of more better to have down there than just having to like reach it. Sorry. Than just like reach it down. It's like you have to like slide your thumb to get there. It's a big difference, I would say. I also like the micro isn't on here. Apparently people said that it's like the best version of it, but I haven't had one. It's not on the list anyways. But like Game Boy Advance in general is just really good. I mean, Pokemon, Sapphire, Ruby, Pearl, whatever it was called. Emerald. Sonic Advance games were like really great on it. And of course, Wario Land 4. Also, you had those like Mario like 2 World, Yoshi's Island, and Mario 3 remakes. Kinda play a lot on those. Game Boy Color. I still say that despite Game Boy having color and everything, taking AAA batteries or something like that, that's still in C tier, I would say. It's a great upgrade and all, but like it still was just playing Game Boy games. Xbox One don't have. I did have a Nintendo DS. I have to have a funny story about this, because this was around the time when I was like, when I had this thing, and I only had like 2 games. I only had Mario 64, and I had Sonic Rush. It was very early on, and I think I begged my parents to like get me for this for Christmas, because I really liked the whole idea of it. So, God, I have a fucking ton of stories about this. Friend of mine comes on over, sees my DS, is like, hey, this thing's cool. And I'm like, oh, you can have it. But in my mind, I said, oh, he could probably borrow it and let it come back to me. No, I said, you can have it. And he's like, really? I said, yeah. Not realizing that I said that instead of, you can borrow it if you want. Either way, that friend would be the type that would keep it even when I said, you can borrow it anyways, so it would probably should have said something at all. Because, you know, later down the line, Pokemon Gen 2 remakes, you get Chrono Trigger on there. Like, apparently there was a lot of good of Nintendo DS games on there. So, I kind of have to, like, put it on C tier again. This is all Nintendo stuff, by the way. Jesus. I mean, shows how much I have a lot, but, like, we're getting starting to get into more familiar territory. You know, other than, like, Sega Saturn, I never had a Sega Saturn. Probably never will. No, that's... What is that? I can't zoom in on that. It's like I don't know what these two things are anyhow, so it's... Oh, I think that's a Neo Geo. God, like... I saw the cartridge of those fucking things at the store, and I'm like, Jesus, you could probably whack a guy with that. So now the tier list is streamlined to more of my preferences. Nintendo 64. I can't lie. Having to play Mario 64 for the very first time as a kid, after playing like Mario 3, Mario 1, I never actually had a Super Nintendo, but like I had SNES Mini and like, you know, emulators and stuff and Virtual Console. But Mario 64, however, I was really like thinking, oh man, this is gaming now. This is where it's gonna go. Ocarina of Time, experiencing all those games firsthand, 3D realm platforming sort of deal. It was great, but I kind of like look at my like little like pile of like 64 games down there, and that's all the only good games, honestly. I mean, there's still some more, but like there really aren't that many great 64 games that have pretty aged well. And any remakes of any of those 64 games, like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask on like 3DS, you know, made those games way better. I can't say it stands the test of time, but I still enjoy playing on it. That's a B tier right there, I would say. PlayStation. PlayStation's weird because, like, it's just only because it has two different controllers. It has the dual analog shock controllers, but it has like the original controller, which is just like a funky looking SNES controller with like buttons for the D-pad. That's like the only worst thing about like every like PlayStation controller I have come across are D-pad buttons. I hate that. It shouldn't be that way. But they kind of just padded it since like up till New Year's dawn or something. PlayStation is just weird, I would say, but man, one of the times I borrowed it from my cousin or something like that, when she gave it to me because she didn't want it anymore, I had lots of fun. I played a lot of Spyro. I rented a lot of like PlayStation games actually. Like I played Marvel vs. Capcom. I played like Mega Man Legends actually. I didn't have a memory card though, so it's like the whole like idea that you have to like stick a thing in there so you can save games was painful to like say the very least, because they didn't want to build in like a hard drive space in these consoles. It used to be like the tapes, but with CD technology you can't do that. But like, yeah, PlayStation, I would say that's actually A tier, I would say, yeah. Just because like it didn't have a lot of good games on it, and like it had a really unique look to it because it was like technically like a 32-bit console, and it does 3D graphics too. And I honestly kind of like that chunky, JPEG-y look on a lot of those things. Sega Genesis, Genesis. I'm gonna have to say this is just this Genesis. not CD, no 32X. Just playing as Genesis. It's as good as these guys. It has a great collection of games. Parallax scrolling and the sound on it. I really love the sound of the Sega Genesis because like it was just basically a sound chip from a keyboard instead of like SNES, which is like uses like general MIDI stuff, but like it also had like soundscapes or something like sampling. And Genesis just has like all the Sonic game. Well, most of the Sonic games on it are really good. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is like one of my top games up there. But yeah. PlayStation 2 is S tier. This baby. So I don't know anything about like I forgot if you could play CDs on the PS1, but PS2, you're just chilling and you beat like Ratchet and Clank. It's like, well, what now? It's like Ratchet and Clank was my only game. I don't even know if Ratchet and Clank was a launch game for the PS2. But you're sitting around and then you're like, oh, I have all these I have like a bunch of DVDs I like to watch. You can put that on your PS2. You can watch DVDs on your PS2. It works. Great collection of games. Backwards compatibility. It's awesome. I even forgot the Wii had like backwards compatibility. That's still a B tier. But yeah, it's just like the PS2 is like everything that made like the PS1 made it so much better. Alright. More familiar to territory back again. Nintendo Switch. It's only been out for like 2 years, I think. It's been my newest console. Because I don't have like, these two things. And you got PC here. But Nintendo Switch, I've really just been playing it more than anything else nowadays. Other than like new consoles. Old retro consoles I've been getting. Even like PC. Like, I just like playing games on like this thing, the Switch. A lot of the games have been coming out have been really good. I am really positive about the Switch's success and everything. Still, the only few things I don't like about it is like some limitations with handheld mode, at least with some games or something. But I guess it's really more dependent on the games than the console itself. The whole idea to pick up that thing, you play Skyrim and Doom on it, like big Doom, and then it's a good little thing, but it's not something I like take out a whole lot. But yeah, I still say that's an S tier console unless this thing gets like Netflix or like a web browser. But like it's an S tier for me. Oh, the Wii U. I'm still using that Wii U. I still am. Just sitting on my that little gamepad thing, sitting on my bed for me to watch YouTube videos like every night, because it's like the only good way to watch YouTube videos for me. I tried so hard, but it just couldn't. So many good games that came out on this thing though. But like, you just definitely needed to get a new controller just so you can play a lot of the games like naturally. And even then, the controller itself is like weird because like they got the two analog sticks up there, you got like the rest of the buttons down there. It's weird. I won't deny it was fun having to play a lot of Earthbound on my bed with this thing on my face. But it just wasn't good overall. It just kind of just was there for a good while, but then it just like, no. So it's pretty funny that I'm still putting this on C tier, where everything here is a Nintendo console. And Xbox 360. I actually did get 360. You probably are wondering, hey, what was the thing that got you your 360? Was it Mass Effect? Was it Gears of War? No, it was fucking Brutal Legend, and that game sucked. And I had a lot of trouble getting with this console because you couldn't have it stand like that. It's like, it's so weird. It wanted to be like the PS3 would, like, you can have it on stand, but like the insides of it were terrible. Like, fucking, if you had a game in it, you had to make sure to take it out if you wanted to like move the console, because it scratches up the disc apparently. Like, oh my god, it has so much problems. There's the whole Red Ring of Death thing, which I never got. Fortunately, you also couldn't like, I think this was around the time when like the PS3 even had a Wi-Fi thing on it or something. I may be completely wrong on that. Even like even the fucking Wii had one. 360 only had an Ethernet port and no Wii Wi-Fi thing. You had to get something that's $100 in order to do that. So for the longest time, we had the 360 and like a small ass TV downstairs where like the modem was, to plug it in there so we can download patches, download games and stuff. It was the worst. This console technically should be the worst, but it did like break me out of the whole Nintendo thing, even though I'm still like favoring Nintendo. But like, it brought me to like a lot of new stuff. I did play Mass Effect. It was great. I played it all. It got me more interested into even more games doing so. More so than the PS2. I just kind of stuck with like anything that looked like a platformer. And yeah, despite it having like Brutal Legend and everything, it's getting that on Christmas was like the best memory of my life, which is to like get like a 360, more so than the GameCube. Despite all of its funky problems, I think I would put that up on A tier, just because like it broke me out of the mold. I remember also like, because you could actually like rip CDs on that thing. I remember just like ripping CDs onto that thing just so I can listen to the music I ripped it on, and I would listen to like fucking Metallica or some shit while I like play Saints Row, and it was amazing. So that's my tier list of the consoles. How long was this? 22 minutes. Cool, we got 2 lists left. Maybe I should just upload the fucking console one and just be done with it.
Some of you believe your system is the most advanced in the universe. Let's review the numbers. Sega Genesis is 16 bits. 3DO is 32 bits. The Atari Jaguar is 64 bits. Which is more advanced? Clifford! With 64 bits, 3D graphics, real-world animation, and lightning speed that you can only get with Jaguar. Which is more advanced? Clifford!
Can you repeat the question?
Jaguar! Jaguar! Jaguar!